It is with great pride that I ask you all to stand and welcome the veterans that have joined us here today. Please stand. Veterans, please begin your procession.
all I can say is, wow. Kids, it's a pretty impressive place you're in today. We thank the Lord above that you are here with these young, older men and women that have done so much for your country. This is a great place. I'm just proud to be here. Got a lot of guests here today. My name's Todd Sams from the high school. Just a show of hands, we have a lot of guests. Just to let you guys, kids know, could my Army veterans raise your hands out here? So the students know, gentlemen, and we have our World War II veterans, World War II, Army, Navy, Air Force. Korean War. Cold War. Vietnam. Lebanon crisis or Panama of the 1980s. Persian Gulf I. The War on Terror, Iraq in 2000s. Afghanistan. And if I missed anybody, I'm truly sorry. Let's see, we had Grenada, that only lasted a couple of days, right? But just thanks for being here. Are there any other veterans in there that didn't make it down here? Please do. If we forgot you and you didn't make it down, please make your way down. You're more than welcome to be here. First, thanks for all these people being in attendance. I do have to thank JTM and Biggs for sponsoring a breakfast for these people. So I wholeheartedly thank JTM and Biggs for that. And we have just a great assembly of people here today. It's fantastic. So we have a few other things to say. I also didn't recognize our teacher veterans here at Harrison High School or Harrison Junior School, teacher veterans. So we have lots to be thankful for. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker for today. His name is Master Gunnery Sergeant Chris Wessler. And he's going to talk a little bit about Veterans Day to you.
Good morning. I want to thank you first for inviting me to speak today. Thank you, administration, for putting on a wonderful program today. Well, I am Master Gunnery Sergeant Chris Wessler. I'm an E9. So in the food chain, I'm kind of at the top of the food chain there. Okay? But more importantly, I'm Carly's dad. I've been in the Marines now for 27 years. And it's been a wonderful tour. I first started in communications, and now I lead Marines, and that's a wonderful feeling. I've been deployed to Desert Storm, Iraq, and the relief in Katrina when the hurricane hit. We did a lot of things down there to help our fellow Americans. I have the odd distinction of being a reservist my whole career. But I've been deployed as much as my active duty counterparts. I was asked what it means to be a Marine. There's no way you could actually talk about that in 5 minutes, but I'm going to sum it up. It means going through the hardest training and not giving up. It means leaving your family. And not giving up. It means sleeping in the mud and not giving up. I guess it means everything to do your best and not to give up. The common thread that all of these vets have today in every branch of service is they did not want to give up on their country. They all want it to be a safe place to live. What that means to you is every day, try your best. The honor flight that the students and teachers are working so hard is a great reflection on the vets that did their best. It is a place where they can go and say they've done their best. Believe it or not, one day your high school career will be over, or your junior high career will be over. Look back upon it and say, you did your best. Part of being a Marine is also the good times and seeing different places and different cultures. Part of that also is looking back on the traditions of being a Marine and all its distinctions. Can everybody give me a kiss? All right. Tomorrow is the Marine Corps' birthday. Hoorah. So at this time,
Buddy Hine. He's a Harrison boy from World War II, Buddy Hine. He's your brother. We have a relative and a friend. You'll hear about Buddy Hine right now. If I can find my paper. But kind of been busy here planning all this, but it's been fantastic. But the way this started, about 4 years ago, there, when I came, thank you, sir. About 4 years ago, when I came over to high school after 18 years at the junior high, one day as I'm walking out of the activity center, I see this memorial plaque for Buddy Hine, and it drew me in. And being a veteran, I continued to read about it, and I read more and more about it. And so 3 times a year, my students have gone out and left a memorial outside for Buddy Hine. And we do it on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and then we also do it April 18th, and you'll see why in just a second. Let me read to you what the plaque out front says, in case you've never taken the time to stop and read it. I bet you you'll stop the next time. Raymond Buddy Hine, 1920 to 1943. Those who knew Buddy Hine, class of 1938, during his years growing up in Harrison and attending Harrison High School, talk of a smart, athletic young man who was respected and admired. They say Buddy had a sense of purpose, that he was a kid with a bright future. It was this purpose and a deep love for his country that led Buddy into the Army Air Corps, where he became a fighter pilot and a lieutenant in a very short time. And because of his sense of purpose and patriotism, Buddy Hine became a true American hero. So I'll continue on, but just summing this part up. Buddy Hine was a Harrison boy. He was a nice young man from Harrison, like lots of you guys are. And Buddy Hine grew up here in Harrison, graduated from Harrison, and they loved and respected him. His friends did. His teachers did. His family did. On the morning of April 18th, 1943, Buddy took off in his P-38 fighter plane. There's those really sweet-looking twin fuselage planes. They're awesome. He took off on a dangerous secret mission to shoot down Japanese Admiral Yamamoto, who we all know was the Commander-in-Chief of the Imperial Japanese Navy and the man who had masterminded the attack at Pearl Harbor. The mission was successful. Yamamoto shot down, and the war possibly ended quicker because of the lack of his leadership in Japan. And Buddy Hine is credited as being one of the 4 pilots responsible for helping shoot down Yamamoto and changing the course of World War II in the Pacific. But sadly, Buddy's plane was shot down during the mission, and he never returned. I'm going to read to you the Navy Cross award that he was given by the President of the United States. The President of the United States of America takes pride in presenting the Navy Cross to First Lieutenant Raymond K. Hine, Buddy Hine, United States Army Air Forces, for extraordinary heroism while serving as a pilot of a P-38 fighter plane and attacking Yamamoto on 18 April 1943. I'm going to read the conclusion of it. Lieutenant Hine was flying wing on First Lieutenant Holmes in the attacking section of the flight and stayed in formation with him in spite of the fact that Lieutenant Holmes experienced difficulty in dropping his wing tank when the enemy formation was first sighted. Together they attacked the Zeros pursuing Lieutenant Barber and broke up the attack. Together, you hear that word? Together. Together, they attacked and helped destroy a 3rd enemy bomber flying low over the water near Kuala Point, which was finally exploded by Lieutenant Barber. They then engaged a number of Zeros, and it appears that Lieutenant Hine accounted for one of the 3 shot down during this stage of the engagement. At about that time, his left engine was observed to be smoking, and he was last seen losing altitude south of Shortland Islands, and since has been missing in action. Buddy Hine died on this mission. He died because his country asked him to. His country called him into service, and Buddy Hine gave the ultimate sacrifice that day. And the thing that gets me, and what has carried me through these 4 years of holding ceremonies out there, this was a Harrison boy. And he gave it his all, and he gave it his best. And as Master Gunnery Sergeant said, giving it your best, doing it your all every day. And that's what Buddy Hine did. Mr. Seal, at this time. Now I have a little bit of information about veterans information. This is taken from President Bush's State of the Union address in January of 1990. And so I'll be reading the part of President Bush, and my friend Rick here is going to be reading another part. All right. Let me say, so long as, this is what President Bush said that day, that evening. Let me say that so long as we remember the American idea, so long as we live up to the American ideal, the state of the Union will remain sound and strong. And to those of you who worry that we've lost our way, well, I want you to listen to parts of the letter written by Private First Class James Markwell, the 20-year-old Army medic of the 1st Battalion, 75th Rangers. It's dated December 18th, the night before our armed forces went into action in Panama. It's a letter servicemen write and hope they never will be sent. And sadly, Private Markwell's mother did receive this letter, and she passed it on to me here in Cincinnati, and this is what he wrote.
I've never been afraid of death, but I know he is waiting at the door. I've been trained to kill and to save. So has everyone else. I am frightened of what lays beyond the fog, and yet do not mourn for me. Revel in the life that I have died to give you, but most of all, don't forget the Army was my choice, something that I wanted to do. Remember, I joined the Army to serve my country and to ensure that you are free to do whatever you want to do and live your lives freely.
Let me add that Private Markwell was among the first to see battle in Panama and one of the first to fall. But he knew what he believed in, and he carried the idea that we call America in his heart.
Mr. Sams, a veteran himself, went to high school with Jimmy Markwell. Jimmy said it well when he said, "I joined to serve my country and to ensure that you are free."
Regan. I seriously want to thank all of the veterans that are here. This has been phenomenal. It was great to break bread with you this morning, even though Mr. Tracy was late with the coffee. Love you, Mr. Tracy. But it's great to spend time with you, and we just appreciate your service, and we thank you for being here. It's a tremendous honor. At this time, Staff Sergeant Wayne Scott of the Ohio National Guard has a presentation for us. Accepting on behalf of Harrison High School is Mr. Davis Baker, Principal, and Ms. Kaylin Claypool, whose brother is serving in Afghanistan right now. This flag was flown on an aviation mission by Ohio's 37th Infantry Brigade Combat Team. And the flag is being presented to us, Harrison High School, because of our participation in Operation Buckeye Guard. This flag will remain at the high school in a place of honor, and I'm truly honored to have it here. Thank you. Now, I have my friend Kaylin here, who's been working hard on something just to tell you guys, all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Zan. On behalf of William Henry Harrison High School, and with great pride of my own, I am glad I have the opportunity to honor and accept this flag. There's always a story behind every flag. Many times people see a flag as nothing more than a piece of fabric and colors, but flags are much more than that. In fact, there's a personal story behind every flag. People need to look at the flag as an important symbol of what so many men and women have done and are doing for us. This flag means so much to me because it flew in Afghanistan, where my brother, Infantryman Joseph Prado, 101st Airborne Division, is deployed on the front lines. He left September 17th, and I think of him and his friends every day. I'm also planning on joining the Army myself, hoping to become a dog handler in the Tactical Bomb Detection Unit. As someone with a loved one fighting overseas, I know what military families go through. I'm worried all the time for Joseph, but at the same time, I put those thoughts away, and that's when I begin to think about how proud I am of him. It's so easy to think negatively when you don't get to speak to that brother or sister, son or daughter, husband or wife, but I remind myself that if he wasn't ready, he wouldn't have been sent. Joseph is doing what he enlisted to do, and he stands with great pride as he does. I look up to all veterans for what they've done and how they've served our country. Thank you, Operation Buckeye Guard, for presenting this flag to our school, and thank you most to all military families and veterans for all you're doing and have done. Thank you.
Kind of a lot of coordination for this, I've discovered, as the Army folks remember, it's a good old dog and pony show. At this time, we're going to have a moment of remembrance, a moment of silence for all of our veterans, for all of your friends and countrymen that have left you, for your relatives that have gone beyond. We thank the Almighty Lord that we live in this country. You better believe it. If you don't, there's a border not too far away. Sorry, but if you don't love this country gives you the freedom of speech, press, assembly, right to bear. I mean, we have all these rights. You better appreciate them, folks. You guys better appreciate them. And we know that just recently, Lance Corporal Charles New passed. Harrison graduate, 2007 graduate. I'm sure you were in with him, weren't you? He's not one of the guys that went with you that day, was he? So we're going to give a moment of silence for him, followed by taps, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But moment of silence for all of those that have gone before us. Thank you, Lord, for this time. you very much. Go ahead and have a seat. We're going to finish up here in a few moments. I really appreciate everyone being here. This has been a tremendous honor. And, but it's not just our veterans. It's also their families and the people that have loved ones in harm's way. That's why I asked Kaylin to stay up here. But if anybody out there has a veteran in the family who's deployed, brothers, sisters in the Army, Air Force, Ms. Glenmeyer, I need you down here. I'm asking for all veteran family members to come on down and join us. So come on down. I know, where's Ms. Glenmeyer? Ms. Scheich, you need to come down here in memory of Charles. I want you guys down here on the floor with us. Your brother and sister are deployed. I want you down here with us, please. That's right. Becca's brother's in the Air Force. Because it's not an easy job. If it was an easy job, everybody would be a veteran, but they're not. Because you guys have made sacrifices too. You do without too. You do without parents and brothers and sisters. On the way out today, we're going to be taking a collection for Honor Flight. For those of you that don't know, how many of our veterans here have gone on Honor Flight? Several of them have. This Honor Flight sends veterans, thank you. This Honor Flight sends veterans to Washington, D.C. to be honored in the nation's capital. The majority of them going at this point tend to be Korean War veterans, because to be very honest with you, there's not as many World War II veterans left. And it's the Korean War veterans' turn. And so our hope is that on the way out today, that my fantastic cheerleaders here, they're going to be collecting. They'll have some red, white, and blue buckets. They're going to collect. You got a quarter, throw in a quarter. You got a dollar, throw in a dollar. They're going to collect for Honor Flight. I'd like to get enough to send a veteran, which I think is somewhere around the $400 to $500 range, to send one veteran to Washington, D.C. And also veterans that are out here, if you haven't gone, please stick around and you be with us, and we'll help you get through that process. But I so appreciate these people here. I'm going to ask for just a small blessing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for these veterans. Thank you for all of these young men and women and their families and all that they've served and that they've done. Thank you for all they've been through and for all that they've done for this great country of ours. We are truly humbled, Lord, and we thank you for so much. And thank you for this Veterans Day, and thank you for letting us take the time, cracking open the books and smashing the pencils, and thinking about, Lord, what's most important, our nation, our God, and our families. We appreciate this, Lord, and thank you for the benefit and the blessing of all of these people being here. And everyone said, amen. And now, because we're not going to leave on a bummer, I don't want to do that. We're going to leave with God Bless America. And as the students file out, my cheerleaders, if you can go get positioned, they're going to be up there. You guys stay down here. Cheerleaders, you can stay down here if you're down here for this. We're going to sing a rousing rendition.
I don't want to interrupt. Let's give it up to Mr. Sams for his service and what he did.
Sing God Bless America. If you don't know the words, they're right here.
During the last week, I have been so proud to be a part of Harrison. On Monday, we said bye to one of our own. We walked for a half mile on both sides of the street as students stood there, hands over their heart, completely silent, to pay their final respect. Today, again, you've shown wonderful respect to people that have it so deservingly coming. Thank you. Have a great day, a nice weekend. We're missed to go back to classes, but you are wonderful here. Thank you.